Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast, the inaugural episode of Top 10 Thursday. Herb's going to love that I said inaugural and not first annual. Thank you, Herb.
Whoops.
Appreciate y'all being here. Jay Zawaski here with Greg Boysen and Mario Tirabassi. We're going to talk some playoffs. We're going to debut our first Top 10 Thursday segment, which today is Top 10 Playoff Performers. Love doing stuff like this because you learn stuff. Like, damn, this guy was really good. I heard this Gretzky character guy is somewhat decent. Might be on the list. Stay tuned.
Learned a lot about Wayne Gretzky doing my research here.
Yeah, it's crazy. Make sure you smash that like button for us. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page as well. Podcast listeners, like, review, all that great stuff. Make sure you're following on your favorite podcast app. Before we get started, we were in a bit of a firestorm this morning. Leafs Twitter got a hold of a 30-second contextless clip that went out via someone else. So I'll go first. We were talking about a Leafs fan last night that was during yesterday's show that was celebrating in his basement, and during our conversation about how playoff wins and losses can be so intense, high, intense lows. And that video came in my timeline. It reminded me, like, there's an example of an intense high. This guy's going nuts. He's running around his basement. He's in full Leafs regalia. He's chugging a beer. He's partying. And to kind of, let's ride the wave. I took a shot at the guy's weight. I shouldn't have done that. I'm a fat guy myself. I take fat shots at myself as a defense mechanism. And sometimes I don't think about that I'm not saying it about myself sometimes. So apologies to Leafs guy. That was inappropriate on my end. Curtis from Alberta. I reached out to him via Twitter, which is the only way I know how, and offered my apologies. So hopefully we can move on from there. We get called on our bullshit. We apologize for it, and we get better from it, and we move on. So hopefully that's what we do here.
Yep. Simple enough. Bottom line, took a cheap shot at a guy that I've never interacted with, don't know. Sounds like a great guy.
People love him.
Yep, obviously. So that speaks a lot to who that is, who Curtis is. So took an unwarranted cheap shot. That was wrong. I sent an apology as well. Usually not how I operate, but in the fun of, the moment, said something that should have been said. I'll do better in the future. And if Curtis ever wants to hop on and talk Maple Leafs, sure, let's do it.
I want to buy one of his Doug Gilmour jerseys.
He almost made my top 10 list. Spoiler alert, Doug Gilmour. He was damn good in the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you meant Curtis.
I don't know. I've never seen him play.
He's probably better than I am.
Yeah. We don't want to be the ones to tell people how to be fans. I know personally my reactions to the draft lottery is an example of being
should I cue that up?
Massive fan. You can if you want. Yeah.
But
I know that's always saved and ready to go.
Speaking of the draft lottery, I have something for you Tuesday that is going to be the perfect thing for that night.
Is it a glass case of emotion?
I've wanted to bring it in. I'm not going to give away anything about it. Tuesday it will be revealed one way or another. Nice. It will be the perfect fixture, especially for Mario on draft lottery
Is it
day.
the bird cage that
I'm not telling you anything.
Braggs keeps his Mima in or whatever that is.
It's good. It's good stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's I think we all know better. We are admittedly children at times.
Yes.
And gets the best of all of us. So yeah, I also reached out to Curtis as well. I didn't know who he was before. I know more about him now than I did yesterday. And yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting one tonight for Leafs and Bruins in Game 6. So I'll be watching.
Yep.
Should be a fun one. No Austin Matthews again. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Though You know, the Maple Leafs have won a game without William Nylander. They've won a game without Austin Matthews.
It's true.
Galvanized.
But the Bruins, man, they better. Here's the guy I'm looking for tonight to show up. That's Brad Marchand. 0 shots on goal in Game 5. How do I know this? He was part of my prize pick.
More on them later.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a guy that is like, you know, that's a guy who is built a career on getting in people's heads, built a career on the big moments, and he was invisible in that game. If he's invisible tonight, here we go again.
Well, see, I was thinking about
that did this exact thing last year,
and you said it yesterday, and I was thinking about this watching the Oilers game. You're like, don't let them back up. Don't take your foot off the throat. Don't relent. Don't think you've got the series won. Oilers win. They advance. Boston's got 2 chances to win. Right? Like, it's, I don't know. I still, even though I picked Toronto in a series, it is a big thing to overcome, especially without Matthews. Even if he is back at some point and not 100%, it's going to be tough. But hey, like you said, the Bruins let up. And now the Leafs have some momentum. They're feeling good about things. They're feeling optimistic. And with a team that dangerous, with that much firepower, again, to steal from our buddies at What Chaos, Galvanized, look out for them. They've got nothing to lose at this point, right? They've been written off already.
All the pressure's on Boston now.
That's right.
All the pressure's on Boston right now. And, you know, it starts with Brad Marchand for Boston. When he's going to spend half the game in the penalty box and try to be the rat as opposed to being the elite hockey player, usually things go bad. You know, that's the guy I look to tonight. If he's on his game, if he comes out there in the first period and has 3 or 4 hits and a couple shots on goal and has drawn a penalty, then I think it's bad news for the Maple Leafs.
Did you see what Kevin Shattenkirk was saying? He was saying it was like when Nylander was out. Maybe it changes the dynamic of their team, but they're all powerful weapons. Austin's certainly the most dangerous man on the ice when he's out there, but I don't think their game changed as much last game. As a whole, they were just desperate.
Well, you could make that same argument when Connor Bedard was out, where some guys picked up their game.
Yeah.
Instead of just standing around waiting for Austin Matthews to save you,
right,
you got to go do it yourself.
One more little part from it here from Shattenkirk. If Matthews was in the lineup, it probably would have been more of the same. That's interesting, and for an opponent, for an opponent to be maybe that's Shattenkirk being like, let's see if I say this, maybe they'll just scratch Austin Matthews. You won't have to worry about it.
Worked.
Yeah.
I wonder what the angle is there. It was interesting.
We had a super chat from Ben who changed. He changed his profile.
Ben,
picture.
I liked your thirst trap shirt, your thirst trap picture.
Fixed my
working
picture
for me,
or made it worse. I don't know. I'd say Kaner is properly top 10 in the franchise. Personally, my favorite players are Taves and Tony Amonte. Those are good choices.
Those are pretty
thanks
good.
For the super chat.
Thank you for the
Ben.
Tony Amonte. Tony Amonte erasure is a problem around these parts.
And look how cute his cat is.
He's a cute cat.
Yes, very cute cat.
Awesome.
I wonder if he's named after a Blackhawk.
Oh.
Yeah.
Could be.
I don't think there's Tony Amonte erasure.
I don't know. I think there's a big gap in
There's a lot
Black Hawkle awareness.
Yeah, well,
Well,
there were
yeah,
a
the
lot
era
less
in
people
which he
watching
played
when
in,
he
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The era in which he
Right.
played it.
He's
They need
the second best number 10 in franchise history.
Yeah. I would say yes.
You're getting me mad, Boysen.
It's apparently what I do this week. I get people
it's
mad.
your shtick.
It's my new thing.
Patrick Kane, maybe?
Patrick Kane. I like that. That's
Patrick
good.
Kane. All right.
Patrick
that.
Kane.
Ben, name your cat after
Could
a
be.
Blackhawk already. Damn it.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the one game
Dr.
tonight.
Doom.
The
That
one
is
game
the
tonight
name,
is Leafs and Bruins, and the Dallas Stars take the series lead.
Mm-hmm.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Justice.
Yeah. They've been arguably the better team in the series and got the series lead. A hard fought game again, as you know you're going to expect with the defending Cup champions, and then the team that is I'd say a majority of fans probably are picking Dallas to be a Cup winner this year. So you're getting a hard fought series, and Alex Pietrangelo. That was quite the play on
That was interesting.
on Sagan there. That I mean, I'd like to think that one small thing maybe doesn't change the series all that much, but hey, it might. It's the playoffs. So one play can make a huge difference in a series.
I mean, Alex Pietrangelo has that play and gives the power play to the Stars. That's where they score the game-winning goal. Not a thing you would expect to see from a guy like that. You know, a little bit of frustration. Decided to smack Tyler Seguin in the face. Got called. I mean,
Not the face. That's his moneymaker.
I mean,
Can't do that.
I mean, that's
Guy's got a career for the game. Come on.
yeah. I mean, it was a blatant penalty. Got caught, and if that's the play that ends the Vegas run, that would be hilarious.
Lord Hosta says, would you rather Vegas win and
No.
improve the Hawks draft position?
No.
Or Dallas win right now and knock them out? Yeah, I want them out.
I'm tired
I'd
of
rather
Vegas.
I'd rather Dallas win, so my picking of them for the Stanley Cup
That too.
doesn't
Yeah.
get knocked out in the
I mean,
first
I have them
round.
in the Western Conference Finals, so
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin my bracket by any means. Even though if Dallas gets by, Avalanche have hit their stride at the right time.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They have hit their stride at the right time. But I'm done. I'm tired of Vegas. I'm over them. You know, the whole LTIR loopholes. Are they cheating? Are they not? I'm done. I'm over it. You know, you've had nothing but success since entering the league.
Right.
The league changed the rules so they can be good right away. And they were, and credit to that initial draft, they drafted a lot of guys that, even when they drafted that expansion draft, a lot of people were like, this team wins 20 games, they'll be all right. And then they leaned into it. They played with that chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
But they're not that likable team anymore.
No.
They're we're going to try and buy a championship every year, and if we need to take advantage of a loophole that anybody else can,
Yes.
we will.
I'm all
Time
for
and
the
time
loopholes.
again. The Blackhawks
Yep.
took advantage of it in 2015. We all know that. That was with a legit injury. I'm not saying that Mark Stone never not hurt. A severed spleen or whatever it was. That's not fun. But it's just amazing that he gets hurt and he's always healthy enough for game one of the playoffs.
Just
It's
next
the timing
year,
of it all.
find another guy to go on long-term
Well, he's got
injured
the
reserve
biggest
right
cap
before the
hit.
trade
Yeah, he's got
deadline.
the largest cap hit.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it worked out nicely for them. And look,
That's
it's
something
the
that
rules are the
needs-
rules, and if you're
It
willing
is.
to,
That's something that needs to be explored at the next CB. I'm wondering if it's going to be, if enough teams are going to complain about where they're going to change something. There's two ways you can change that, and this could be an off-season topic. But the easiest two ways you can change that is you have to play in game 82 in order to play in the first round of the playoffs.
interesting.
Or the salary cap goes into effect for the playoffs.
Yeah,
You could do that.
That's
You
another
could also
one.
do your LTIR can only be half your cap hit instead of the full cap hit.
Could do that.
There's ways to do it.
You can change it.
I mean, I do like your Game 82 thing. Wouldn't that sort of be like the AHL, the paper transaction that the Hawks had to do to get
You got to
guys
be on the
together?
roster at the deadline in order to play in
Right?
the playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're healthy enough to play in game one of a playoff game, you should be able to play in that last regular
Yeah,
season game.
I agree. Yeah,
And maybe there's guys that are legit hurt and they can't make it back in time, then you don't get to play in the first round. You can come back in the second round.
well,
Yeah.
I don't know. The hockey players are tough. You know, what if they just can't? They really shouldn't be playing, but they want to be out there for the playoffs.
That's all of them.
right.
You're never gonna. You know what I mean? You're never gonna fix that.
So
But
what if they would want to sit them Game 82?
Yeah.
you know.
I think that there has been so much spotlight on this because of Vegas,
Well, and
that
Vegas
they're definitely going to change something next CBA.
And Vegas even said it last year. They set it up. Well, Mark Stone's back is really bad. He's probably going to be in and out of the lineup for the
Yeah.
rest of his career. They told you what they were going to do, and then we all act surprised when they did it.
I didn't act surprised. Not at all.
No, not in the least.
No.
Speaking of, you said surprise. Speaking of prize,
There you go.
Prize.
that was terrible.
I like that.
Awful. Back to broadcast school I go. Prize Picks is the largest daily fantasy sport DFS platform in North America. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. and your bad ideas. Baseball season is officially underway, and there's no better way to cash in on the action than Prize Picks. Add your favorite players from the diamond to your Prize Picks lineups all season long, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs. Take your pick of more or less and add them to your Prize Picks lineup. Today, you can now win up to 100 times your money with baseball-only lineups and Prize Picks. If you submit a winning lineup featuring 4 demon squares, you'll cash in big time on the biggest moments of baseball's early season. Go to prizepicks.com/CHGO and use the code CHGO for a first match deposit up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/CHGO and use code CHGO. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
And hey, if you got some laundry piling up, you need to, if you're like me, you need to take it to CD1 Price Cleaners. Why? Well, it's because they have the lowest price around and the best price around. Customers can save over 30% on their dry cleaning bill by switching to CD1 Price Cleaners. Other cleaners can charge a different price for every garment type. Plus, they have upcharges, and you may pay a different price each time you visit. But at CD1 Price Cleaners, they charge one low price for any garment, even sports jerseys, the same one low price. They have a quick turnaround as well. CD1 Price Cleaners has your order ready the same or the next day. Other cleaners can take 2 to 4 days to have your garments clean and ready. And when they are clean and ready, CD1 Price Cleaners will send you a text message when your order is ready to come and pick it up, because they don't want it laying around any more than you do. And they have a ton of different services: dry cleaning, wash and fold your laundry, blankets and comforters can get cleaned there. They do tailoring and alterations, leather cleaning, and area rug cleaning. So visit chgo.cd1, that's one.com. The link is also in the description on this video. Once you're there, you can pick from an in-store coupon or an online pickup and delivery coupon. You have those two options. Again, it's chgo.cd1one.com.
Before we get to Top 10 Thursday, one last thought on the cap circumvention, whatever you want to call it, LTIR stuff. It makes the trade deadline more interesting. It gets more star players in the playoffs. I wonder if there's actually, they might say on the record, like, oh, this is not good. It gets conversation going.
Sure.
It stacks teams. Like, it's not bad for the game from the perspective of conversation and excitement. Like, trade deadline day is one of the biggest days of the year in the league. And if you've got contenders adding players, it makes it more exciting. So I wonder if there is an actual, like, off-the-record desire for them to not really change it too much, because it allows teams to do a lot more at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I'm sure most teams would like to be able to use that to their advantage at some point, sometime, rather than it always being Vegas. But yeah, I don't know.
And even from the league perspective of, hey, this is actually good for the game that Thomas Hertel is now on the Golden Knights instead of the Sharks.
It's
Right,
fair.
yeah.
Steven asks, would the NBA adopt the NHL adopt the NBA's rule for cap relief, where league doctors review and approve the relief, and it's only for half the contract amount?
Maybe.
I don't know if the NHL is going to be in favor of having doctors examine the
Dr. Nick Riviera.
I was gonna say.
Hey, everybody.
I was gonna say Dr. Arroyo.
Dr. Arroyo, yeah.
I don't think it's like, I don't know, like a league doctor, wink, wink. I mean, and if you have independent doctors examining hockey players, 3/4 of the league are going to be told that you can't play.
Oh my God.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look at the laundry list of speaking of CD1 price.
It's going to be like 3 guys dressed for each
Yeah.
team in the league, because independent doctors are going to sit these guys down and go, "You are out of your damn mind.
You look at the
How are you even breathing?
list
let
of
alone playing
injuries
hockey?"
every year that just get laid out whenever a team's
Yeah,
eliminated.
they'll have to sit these guys down and be like, okay, we know this is new to you. The following things are pretty normal. Broken leg, broken wrist, broken neck. They
Yeah.
play through this stuff. It's the other stuff we're worried about. Any internal bleeding is really what we're looking for. No use of. I always remember Chris Chelios could barely walk, then get the bad Novocaine shot and had to miss a playoff game because the doctors missed.
Yeah.
Where they were trying
Oops,
to.
we numbed the wrong body part.
Hit a nerve or something. Yeah.
Speaking of Chris Chelios, I wonder if he'll be on our list of top 10 ever playoff performers.
Our list.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Should we get to it?
Let's
Now,
do
this
it.
is your baby, Greg, so we're going to let you navigate this.
It was my idea to do this on Thursdays this off season, since off season can get very boring.
What?
Hey,
Not today.
and lack of content.
Well, can you take that
so-
mouse off my forehead, please? Thank you. That was very distracting.
their screen.
Oh, the mouse cursor. I was like, what?
So let's do a top 10 list every Thursday, and we picked last night top 10 all-time Stanley Cup playoff performers. And while doing the research for this, we probably should have done like top 50, and we still would have left off
know.
Yeah.
some amazing
You'd
names
still be
here.
you'd
So
still be having your
this is a
own
top list. So what we did and what we'll do every week, whatever the topic is, is all three of us will submit our own top 10 list or whatever the topic is, and then we'll do like a cumulative score rating.
Now, are we going to go through our own individual lists beforehand or afterwards?
I say after.
Okay.
Yes, I say after we'll reveal, and then we come up with a consensus top 10 list. And I imagine this won't necessarily always stick to hockey.
No.
We'll do some fun stuff as the summer goes on.
I was thinking of some fun ones today.
And
Pizza
we
toppings.
might even dip into the Discord, the Die Hard Discord, and take some suggestions from our Die Hards.
Bacon flavors from Charlie the Baker.
They're
There you
all
go.
they're all tied for number one.
They're all number one.
They're all
Except
number-
Malort,
They're
which
all,
is
yeah.
It would
number two.
Malort's number two. Everything else tied for number one.
50-way tie for first.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's get to it. This week's top 10 Thursday top topic, subject, whatever you want to call it. The all-time NHL playoff performances.
I did notice a severe lack of Sergei Krivokrasov in this list, so
Yeah.
I'm
Well, if we did a Hawks list, maybe.
Yeah, if we did Hawks.
I mean, one game does not make a career. but,
shush. I just like saying Sergei Krivokrasov.
we'll do. There's that might be next week's topic.
Top 10 random Blackhawks.
top 10
top
one
10
moment
hockey names.
Blackhawks.
Top 10 hockey names.
Oh, top 10
Oh, that's
hockey
fun.
names. That's a good one.
Yeah. All right. Anywho,
Zarley Zalapsky.
so let's go right to it. Thanks to Lawrence for putting together these graphics for us as we go through the top 10. For those
Who
of
else
you
was gonna do it?
watching on the YouTube.
Not me.
Not me.
Joey?
So let's get to it. Number 10 is Brett Hull.
Brett Hull.
Brett Hull, who I believe only had one showed up on one list, but it was high enough
Really?
to get on the top 10.
Oh, you're welcome, Brett Hull.
And we look at Brett Hull's career stats in the postseason. He is 8th all time with 190 career playoff points.
Points.
And a pretty big one for Dallas.
Had that big goal
Yep.
against Dallas, and now current Buffalo Sabres coach Lindy Ruff. He 2 cups.
2 cups. He was
cups.
on the
He was on that one of the-
0-2 Juggernaut Red Wings team
Yes.
that had a starting lineup full of Hall of Famers.
Right, he was like on the 4th line.
Yeah, right.
Like he was just along for the ride
Yeah.
that year. Hard to argue with that. I mean, as I said, there's so many names going down these lists that it was just tough. Like, there's one guy that's going to pop up on this list here in a little bit that I didn't even have on, and I don't know if I'm ashamed to admit that, but anyway, Brett Hull comes in at number 10.
I mean, you're going with how many thousands of players have played in the NHL through time. I just think we'll get to it. A lot of similarities in terms of one category, so we'll get to it.
Well,
I
it
don't wanna
also
spoil
doesn't
anything.
help that when you have the top 4 and 6 of the top 7 players in playoff scoring all played on the same team.
Yeah. That's true.
Those 80s Oilers teams.
Yeah.
They're all right
all-
there.
Yeah.
So it kind of mucks it up a little bit.
does, yes.
Splits some votes. Like,
And those old Canadians teams, too, have
Yeah.
had a lot of
Yeah.
success.
I'll say the way that I went about picking my 10, I went with who would I most want in a playoff scenario on my team, which again, you could name 1,000 players and
Sure.
and be right. So when we reveal our list, mine is very modern. Like, I don't have any of the like 70s
Yeah.
Canadians and all that, because while I know the history and I know of the players and the stories and everything, it doesn't resonate with me as much as like 80s, 90s, 2000s and beyond hockey does.
I only have one player on my list that I didn't see play live. Or,
Right. Yeah.
During my lifetime.
During your lifetime.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I guess you're saying Brett Hull is on this list because I had him at number 6, basically.
yeah, I did not have him on my top 10.
he just missed mine, too.
Okay, I
He
put
was
I
truly
put him
number
there
11.
because while 190 points in 202 career playoff games, 2 cups, like definitely a guy that scoring goals in the postseason is paramount. 103 postseason goals, he and this guy named Wayne Gretzky are tied with the most game-winning goals in NHL playoff history with 24 each. That's why I put Brett Hull on there.
It's hard to argue with that.
When the playoffs ramp up, the pressure ramps up, you need guys that are going to be able to deliver, and Brett Hull made a career of it.
Hard to argue with that philosophy there. All right, number 9. Who we got at number 9? We have Jean Beliveau. We're talking about one of the old-timers.
Yep.
And this was another guy that I believe only got one vote. He was because I had him 5th on my list.
Well, it's undeniable.
I mean, this guy was
you're not gonna argue that.
a 10-time Stanley Cup champion.
Jeez, greedy.
Now,
And-
now there's probably some luck involved there, Greg.
I mean, see how it plays out. But and he was also
He was winning cups when there was only 4 teams.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
he was also winning cups when, if you look at this photo here, there was no bottom. There's no base to the cup. It's like it's hollow.
It's hollowed out.
I
Wow.
wonder how many
amazing.
guys put the cup on their heads after winning
seriously.
it.
so
Thousands, I'm sure.
10-time Stanley Cup champion.
More cups on heads or more baby diapers
Ooh.
in the cup bowl? I might
When you
go.
flip that upside down without the bottom, you could use it like the diaper genie.
You could, yeah. Just put a trash bag in there.
invention ever.
Diaper genies?
Yeah. Makes your room smell.
Oh, yes, it stinks.
Diaper snake.
I'm so glad that that is one of the underrated things that I am appreciative of doing potty training now, is that like my daughter's room is starting to not smell just like old pee and poop anymore because the diaper pail's been removed. Anyways, we were talking about
Win-win.
Yes.
Yeah.
People are going to get mad because we mentioned diapers while talking about John Beliveau.
Sorry.
Yeah, he was captain for 5 of those 10 Stanley Cup championships. Was the first ever Conn Smythe Trophy winner.
Yep.
In 1971, unfortunately, it came at the expense of the Chicago Blackhawks.
Sure did.
At 39 years old in 1970, when he had 6 goals and 22 points in 20 Stanley Cup playoff games. Still getting it done. 79 goals, 176 points in 162 Stanley Cup playoff games. And this was the majority of his career was played when you played 10 or 12 total games a year.
Yeah,
Because there
right.
was only 2 rounds of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he's still 16th in all-time playoff scoring,
crazy.
despite playing significantly fewer games than a lot of guys.
When you
on
make
that
the
list.
playoffs almost every year of your
Well,
career.
they did.
Yeah, that helps.
essentially. I mean, it helps.
Yeah.
Yes, it helps playing
You're
for the
gonna-
Canadians in the 50s, 60s, and 70s.
You're going to play a lot
but
of playoff games.
he was also the best player of all those teams.
Here's a Jean Beliveau fact I really like. It says he's the only player to score 3 game-winning goals in a championship series twice.
Oh.
In 1960 and in 1964-65.
So he had 3 game
Three game
goals
winners
in
in
2
the-
different Stanley Cup finals.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Take
That's-
that, Wayne Gretzky, you dick.
Yeah, take that, Brett Hull.
Well, that's why he's ninth.
That's
Yes.
pretty, I mean, that's what's fun about these is like, damn, I never knew that. Like, it's such a random little thing that, falls through the cracks of history. And as we go through the list, we're going to get more of those for sure.
Yep.
All right, who's number 8?
The
Great.
Ocho.
We have Jaromir Jagr. Oh, you should have put the
Oh.
picture of him with us.
Friend of the show.
Our close personal
I just
friend,
love
Jaromir
this
Jagr.
photo. Look at his fresh face. He's so young in this photo, and the hair is just
Yeah.
glorious.
Stud.
I mean, Jaromir Jagr is he was a machine for
Still
much of his
playing.
career. Yeah, and
Yeah,
he's
it's wild.
tied for 5th all time with 201 playoff points. Tied with a guy that's going to be mentioned here shortly. Man, it is raining
It
like
is
all hell.
really
outside.
raining. Holy smokes.
I don't know if you guys can hear that, but holy
They might hear
smokes.
that. I don't know.
Is the
You
arc
might hear
built?
this one, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Holy moly. Storming.
Hope I didn't leave my windows cracked.
I definitely left the umbrella in the car.
We may be getting rain in the building momentarily.
Sweet.
Oh, we will be in here shortly. That's no doubt.
The bathroom's already leaking.
But Jagr was just incredible. You look back at those, that cup, the 92 cup final against the Blackhawks.
I remember that.
And he was just insane.
How about when you walked up to him at the card show and you're like, "You broke my heart," and he's like, "Why? What happened?" No recollection. He's like, "Oh yeah, I guess that was a thing I did in my career once."
Yeah. I said, yeah. He was like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, 1992 when you beat the Blackhawks. And I had completely forgotten that he was on that 2013 Bruins team, which is crazy to think about. And he's like, "Well, that's okay. You got even
revenge.
You beat me in 2013." I was like,
True.
All right, fair enough. All right,
That's when he had the
I forget that
the
all the
Lemieux,
time.
mutton chops up to the mustache.
That's when he did the. They did like the NHL did the little like intro things where they're like, "Hi, I'm so and so, and my favorite player growing up was so and so," and he goes, "Hi, I'm Jaromir Jagr, and my favorite player growing up was Jaromir Jagr."
Yeah.
He's the best.
That's crazy.
I hated him so much as a kid, but as I got older,
darn good.
just he's awesome. He's the best.
Well, I mean,
love
and
Jaromir
remember
Jagr.
too, like during his time, like he was considered like a controversial figure. Like he was kind of
because he had so much character. To
yeah,
him.
like is he a good teammate and all this stuff? Come on, his teammates love him. And I still think the greatest moment of his career was when he got his number retired and said, "My girlfriend is too young to remember me being on the Penguins, but I told her all about it." It's awesome.
No lie.
It's so good. Good for him.
All right. We take our break here, or should we do?
Are we at number 7?
All right. Let's do our break here, and then
All
we'll
right,
get
and
to
then
the rest of our top
we'll
10.
finish it out.
And
Hey,
yes, it is that dark outside, Checo Marco.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I mean
the windows are
those blinds
tinted,
are
but
tinted, but it's not.
it's
not great.
Not that
dark.
tinted.
Hey, you love pizza. I love pizza. It's very clear. I love pizza. Stop by Salerno's on tap, located at 1201 West Grand in Chicago's West Town, and enjoy their amazing tavern-style pizza and ice-cold beers like this one right here. Whether you're headed to the game, want to watch it live on their big screen TVs, or if you're watching from home, Salerno's has you covered. Go to salernospizza.com or call 312-666-3444. Mention CHGO and get half off your pizza. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. Mention CHGO and get half off your pizza. Head to salernospizza.com or call 312-666-3444 for more information. Again, mention CHGO and you're going to get half off your pizza. Let's go.
Amazing.
That's awesome. And speaking about saving money on awesome things, if you become a CHGO diehard, you're going to get so many perks that we don't have enough time to list them here.
So many.
If you enjoy what we're doing, our daily podcast, live shows for every team, post-game shows, become a diehard. You're going to get access to premium written content for members only at allchgo.com. That includes Jay's Blackhawks beat that came out today.
Yes.
Talking about the raised level of expectation and how that may or may not affect Luke Richardson going forward. I know Mario's got a draft post coming out tomorrow. Is that a diehard only read?
I think that's going to be open to the public.
All right, but
I
come
think we're gonna
diehard
keep that
anyway,
open
just
to
in
the public.
case.
But yeah,
you
there's
don't
going to be
wanna miss out
more.
there.
There's going to be more draft content as we get closer to the end of June. That will be diehard only as we get more into the minutia of things. That's the word of the day.
Yeah.
It's a
But
great
yeah,
word.
tomorrow's post is open to all.
Well, there you go. But become a diehard anyway, because you're going to get 20% off all events. We had 3 Blackhawk takeovers last year. I would imagine we're going to have close to that same number. We've got some Chicago baseball takeovers
Coming up tomorrow, we got the Friday 120
Friday
Club.
120
Friday
Club. You can
120
go
Club.
to the pregame show at Murphy's Bleachers and a postgame show at Almost Home. Go get some tickets and hang out with Braggs and Cody in the bleachers against the hated Milwaukee Brewers.
Boo. Sorry, Mario.
And then
Herb.
I don't care
get
about
20%
baseball.
off of all of the events. You get 20% all our merchandise. Plus, when you become a diehard and when you renew, you get 1 free hat or shirt. I mean, that almost pays for it right then and
that's
there.
it.
So you also get access to our members-only Discord lounge, where you might be able to suggest a future top 10 topic, or you definitely every week get top priority in Mailbag Monday questions.
Yes.
That's worth the money right there.
And we've done a bunch of giveaways via the Discord this year, too.
Yeah.
Lots of perks to becoming a diehard.
Do it.
So, yes, head on over to allchgo.com, click on the link, sign up, and we will love you forever.
That's right.
Yes.
Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
All right. Who's next?
Number 6.
Number
No, number
7 is
Oh,
Patrick
geez.
Kane.
Who?
Yeah.
of the
Heard of him before?
Chicago Blackhawks. Yes, we know him. 3-time Stanley Cup winner. When you look at total point production, 138 playoff points. That's 41st all time on the list. But Kane was kind of the guy that it wasn't necessarily about putting the puck in the net every game. It was more of just the threat of him getting hot.
Yep.
You had to make sure you accounted for him whenever he was on the ice at all times, and that allowed other players to succeed. And spoiler alert, I didn't have him on my top 10.
Wow.
What?
Oh,
And those, that with Kane, the
It was
big
tough.
moments, I in my mind, I'm like, he's very clutch, right? Listen to this. In games where the Blackhawks could clinch the series, stave off elimination, or in a Game 7, Patrick Kane has 48 points in 35 games.
I mean, it's not how
20
many
goals,
it's when
20
you do
assists.
it.
He has 3 series-clinching overtime goals.
Yeah.
It's clutch.
Woof.
When there's a reason that he was called Showtime. It's when the lights were brightest. Patrick Kane was a guy, and still is, a guy that steps up to the moment. And when you're in the playoffs, you need those cup-winning teams of not only the Blackhawks, but any cup-winning team needs a player that when your team is in a spot where you need someone to step up, be the difference maker, and be the one that can shoulder the load, you need guys like that. And Patrick Kane was always a guy like a guy of that stature here. So
I think
I mean,
I think the roof is coming
absolutely pouring.
This is like biblical rain we're
this
witnessing
is one of the
right
hardest
now.
rains I think we've had.
People
Yeah.
in the chat were talking about hail in different parts of the
It's
city.
so loud
and
in here, I
suburbs.
can't even hear the two guys sitting
Yeah, I
next
feel like
to
I
me.
have
Let alone
to talk
me.
louder
All right,
so you
now
guys
it's
can hear
come
me.
down a little bit. But yeah,
Holy
Patrick
moly.
Kane,
Yeah.
Patrick Kane craved the spotlight, craved the big moment. Very few players could do that. It was tough for me to leave him off my list just because of being in person at so many of these big moments.
Yeah.
But again, it's just a tough list. There are guys that I felt even more wrong leaving off just because of some of the contributions they were able to do.
Yeah, I will never forget 2013. If you go back and watch the Stanley Cup commemorative Blu-ray or DVD, Brad Marchand said something like, "You haven't done much in this series," and Patrick Kane's like, "You know what? You're right.
Whoops.
Get ready."
And he just went on to win a Conn Smythe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like
Exactly.
I think in 2015 he had one too against
It was Pat Maroon.
against the Ducks with Pat Maroon. He said you got to get home for those roller hockey championships or something like that. It was good. It was good stuff. He was always good for a highlight reel play and a highlight reel chirp.
No doubt.
All right. Number 6, Bobby Orr, Boston
Orr.
Bruins legend. Probably the most famous goal in NHL history.
Plus, it was against the Blues.
The most
Right,
famous
which is-
imagery
we
that you could
appreciate.
have. Yeah.
But overtime Stanley Cup clinching goal, the famous dive after with his hands up in the air. And that's just one of many moments for just an absolute legendary player that, today we see defensemen put up points all the time. It's not the norm, but it's definitely every team wants to have a guy like a Quinn Hughes.
Yeah.
Eric Carlson put up 100 points last year. But Bobby Orr was doing that consistent. He led
Changed
the
the game.
league in scoring
He changed
as
the
a
game.
defenseman
I don't know if we'll
multiple times.
I don't know if we'll ever see a defenseman lead the league in scoring again. The way that the league has changed.
And he, again, great playoff run too. Winner of multiple Stanley Cups. Just one of the best players to ever throw on a pair of hockey skates. Revolutionized the position. Revolutionized the game. I'm actually kind of surprised there isn't some sort of postseason award named after him at this point. I
would like. I think if they changed, they did change some awards. The Norris, which I know was it yesterday? The finalists were announced. For the Norris.
Yes.
I feel like if you use the Norris and split the honor into most offensively gifted defenseman and most, I don't know, defensively gifted defenseman or something. The offensive one, I would say, would be you should go with Bobby.
Give the
Orr.
Norris to the best defensive defenseman.
The John Merson Award, my friends.
Give the
Absolutely.
Norris to the best offensive.
We just call it the Norris.
Oh yeah,
Norris.
just capitalize the
Yeah.
ORR.
Yeah.
By the way, the finalists this year: Quinn Hughes, Roman Josi, Cale Makar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bobby Orr, 26 goals, 92 points in 74 playoff games. 2-time Stanley Cup winner. Won the Conn Smythe both times.
And
One of 5 to win it twice. The only defenseman to win it twice.
Yep.
and he's a guy who his legacy is already cemented. But like, think about if he would have been healthy for a few more years.
The Blackhawks
you
would have
know?
loved that.
I'm sure they would have.
We got the pinball machine out of it at least.
Though if he never had a bad knee, chances are he never signs with the Blackhawks.
Good point.
Also true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yes.
All right. We into the top
Into the
5.
top 5. Here
Beautiful.
we go.
5.
You know, it's a good list when Bobby Orr is only 6th.
Yeah.
Here's number 5, Mario Lemieux.
You'll notice I just slid the photo over from.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Nicely
Nice.
done.
Another
Nice.
baby face photo of Mario.
Yeah. Mario
Lemieux, not
Lemieux gets 5th on this list, despite me not even having him in my top 10.
Jeez.
So here's
Hater.
That's how tough.
You're
I
a
had
hater.
another. I had
Crazy.
another Lemieux, just not this one.
here's some Lemieux
Okay.
playoff
Awesome.
notes.
Yeah.
Lemieux holds the records for goals in a single period with 4, goals in a single game with 5, points in a single period with 4, points in a single game 8, and best goals per game in the playoffs at .710. In 107,
pretty good.
107 playoff games for Mario Lemieux, he put up 172 points. 96 assists are 24th best all time, and 76 goals put him at number 12. Again, despite playing in only 107 playoff games, your all-time playoff leader is Chris Chelios with 266 games played.
Yeah, yeah. Another guy who, health concerns changed his career, but like, yeah, it's undeniable the per game impact that he had, insane. Especially and even too later into his career too. Like he played with Sidney Crosby. Like
Yeah.
the longevity
pretty
he was
wild.
able to have was amazing.
Yep, and a lot of those playoff points were put up pre-91-92 when he was like the only guy on that team.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it was a guy that I felt very conflicted. Like my top 4 was like super easy, and after that it was like I changed it multiple times.
It was
I
to
finally
narrow
just,
it
like,
down
I
to 10
finally-
is very
I
difficult.
finally just like screw it. This is it. I'm not changing it anymore.
Well, that's why I kind of had to eliminate, aside from Bobby Orr, who is undeniable. I had to eliminate guys I never seen play because
Yeah.
you could go back to the 20s and like I don't know. I had to kind of go from a place of knowledge. I thought so.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot of guys I'm thinking of now. Like I probably should have had him in there.
Yeah. Like you said, like we could have done a top 50, and you're still
still
you
gonna
know,
be snubbing people.
worrying about where you're slotting different guys, but.
And thank you, Cricket,
Yeah.
for the reminder to everybody to hit the like button. We appreciate that. Let's do a like spike in 3, 2, 1. Smash that like button for us.
Spike.
Did I
Give it an
really-
elbow drop. Give it a perfect plex. Give it the $1 million dream. That one won't really work, though. It's not such an impact move, the $1 million dream. It's
Give it
more
a
of a sleeper style
Give
hold.
it a Scorpion Death Drop.
A DDT.
Diamond cutter.
Yeah,
Elbow drop.
anything you want to do, just make sure that button is hit.
Crossroads.
That is such
Sure.
a corny picture of him.
It is.
I mean, for a guy
Why
who's
is he-
such a badass, he's kind of a dork.
He
Cody
looks like a
Rhodes, can we
ghost-
agree?
he looks
He's a
like a
total
Ghostbuster.
dork.
He's kind of
Yeah,
dorky.
he's a total dork.
Yeah.
Jack
He's
makes
in
him
an
look like
endearing
Ghostbuster.
way.
Yeah, I mean, I can call him a dork because I'm a giant dork.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. 3 for 3 on this set and Law 2.
All right, let's move into the top 4.
Don't bristle at that. You have a hot dog shirt on.
Yeah, it's classic. Come on. What are you talking about?
Lots of Penguins on this list. Number
Yeah,
4,
too many.
Sidney
Too many.
Crosby. It's tough to
Yeah.
argue. He is tied with Jaromir Jagr for 5th all time with 201 points. Boy, if you could only have gotten in the playoffs the last 2 years, he certainly tried as hard as he
Yeah.
Really.
carried that dog shit team on his back for 3 months and couldn't get him in there.
I seriously feel like we have gotten to the point with Sidney Crosby where he is underrated.
Yeah.
Where people are like, they got tired of hearing about him, He was overhyped. Nope, he was not.
No.
He came in and did exactly what everyone said he was going to do.
And more.
It's the hockey equivalent of LeBron James. People were tired of the name before he joined the league.
LeBron James.
He came in and did exactly what everyone said he was going to do. At worst, he's the third best player in history. Okay. With Crosby, top 5, maybe top 10 for sure of all time to play hockey. Like,
Absolutely.
I think Crosby has seriously gotten to the point where people undervalue him.
Well, of course. When you
Yeah.
play that long, but you're still productive.
He's awesome.
You look at, he's 3-time Stanley Cup champion, 2-time Conn Smythe winner. In the years the Penguins won the Stanley Cup, in 2009, he had 15 goals and 31 points in 24 games. 2016, he had 6 points, 13 assists, 19 points in 24 games. That was the year he didn't win the Conn Smythe. And then in 17, 8 goals, 27 points in 24. Well over a point per game, 201 points in 180 playoff games.
One of my regrets about the dynasty is that we did not get that Hawks-Penguins Cup final.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would have been
nice.
awesome.
Yeah, but after
was it,
92, I'm okay with it not repeating.
Fair enough.
Was it 13 was Bruins Penguins in the Eastern Conference Final, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
2013.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that was the closest it would have been because
Was it?
15 was
Yeah.
Rangers Lightning,
Rangers, Lightning, yes.
I think, and then 2010 was Flyers and
Canadians.
Yep.
It was like 7 and 8, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were the two lowest
Yeah.
seeds. Yeah, I mean, look at it's crazy that what Crosby's been able to do in his career. He had injury issues, concussion issues that a lot of people were like, he's never going to be the same again. Might have shortened his career. All that he came back from that and has, for a while reclaimed his status as one of the best in the league. I mean, look at what he did down the stretch here for the Penguins just this year at age 37 to try and get them into the postseason. Starting on March 14th, 1 point, 1 point, 2 points, 1 point, 0, 4, 3, 2, 1,
Did
3,
everything.
2,
Wow.
0, 1, 1, 3, 1, 2, 2.
That's a Hart Trophy. That's that's Hart Trophy worthy stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah.
He did everything humanly possible to drag the Penguins into the playoffs this year,
Yeah.
and they still couldn't get it done. And it was right
It's-
there for the taking.
yeah.
Just
And-
like last year.
And I think what was fun and what I had Crosby on my list at number 3. I think for me is that we saw him at the beginning of his career be a clutch playoff performer, and then we again, in winning, being in back-to-back Cup finals, and then back-to-back Cup finals again 8-9 years down the road, and he was the same kind of guy, but just a more mature, more well-rounded Sidney Crosby. Like, it's just the longevity is really something you have to respect. And again, like we talked about with Patrick Kane, like Crosby is a guy that when the pressure is cranked up, like he's one that always shows up.
I forget who said this. It was earlier this year. I was listening to season preview stuff. Someone described Sidney Crosby as a top line player playing the game like a fourth liner, like into the corners, winning faceoffs, finishing checks, stealing pucks. Like Jonathan Taves in his prime, very similar, right? Like there was nothing that was.
And he's still elite at doing that.
Yeah, and there was
36.
nothing that was above, I'm Sidney Crosby, I don't do that stuff.
Right,
I'm the superstar here. You get me the puck. No. He remains, by the way, a complete player, a great player, and will go down as one of the all-time greats, just as he was hyped to do. So hopefully we get a similar result with the hyped prospect we have in town right now.
That'd be nice.
That would be wonderful.
That'd be
Would be.
nice.
Yes. There's the shirt.
There's
See?
the hot
wearing
dog
his
shirt.
hot dog shirt.
That hot dog was dragged through the garden.
This is from the old Vienna Beef Factory that was up at Fullerton. What was that? Elston and Dayton,
Yeah,
right?
at the three-corner deal,
Where
right?
the hell did they move? I haven't. I used to love going there for lunch. Where
I don't know.
Aren't
The
They should
Vienna
move right
beef
here.
Aren't
hot
they in
dog.
Pilsen? I think they're in Pilsen now. Anyway.
Oh,
There
Pilsen.
you go.
It's by the I think it's Elston, and it's by a bridge.
No, that's where it
and-
used to be.
Oh, it's where it used to be.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know where it is now.
It has now moved, I believe, Pilsen.
I used to pass it on my way into my former employer in this city's office.
Yes. Former
38th and Morgan.
38th. Oh, okay. So it's a little further south.
There you go. That's in the
Yes, Gravely
meatpacking
Diggs,
district.
that's
Makes
a
sense.
Not that
true
far from here.
Chicago
No, it's on my way in.
Hey,
Sky Point.
Yeah, you
Guess
could,
what you're bringing in tomorrow?
Yeah,
I've been to Pilsen 3 times in the last 2 weeks.
Have you
5
gone there?
Rabanitos. You ever been there?
I was just gonna say El Milagro for the steak tacos.
That's good, too.
Holy mother of
My sister
goodness
lives in
gracious.
Pilsen.
Nice.
All right.
Back to the list.
Oh, Young Dangle threw
You just
99
made the
cents at
list.
us. Young Dangle, of course. I actually was looking for Young Dangle earlier,
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
and
The signal went out when Patrick Kane was on the thumbnail.
Yeah, he says, so you're saying Patrick Kane's a playoff performer? He gets better under pressure. Sounds like a guy we should sign for a playoff run 2 years from now.
Sure. 2 years from now, let's go.
Yeah, he said he almost missed a show tailored perfectly.
I can't believe he almost
Former
missed
comments. Yeah. Anyways, back to the top
slipping.
10. We're at number 3.
Top 3 are first and, well, let's face it, only goalie to make the list.
Yeah.
Patrick Waugh, hard to argue with that. 4-time Stanley Cup champion. Only player to win the Conn Smythe 3 times. Nobody else has done
That's
it.
the argument right there.
Pretty damn
And
impressive.
that's why he's where he is.
Yep.
23 career playoff shutouts in 247 playoff
wild.
games. He had 151 wins, a career goals against average of 2.30, and a career save percentage of .918 in a 247
insane.
playoff games.
That's pretty crazy.
And you mentioned the 151 playoff wins, most all time.
No one's
Next
beating
closest is Martin Brodeur with 113.
yeah, no one's touching that.
Behind Brodeur is Grant Fuhr, retired, and Marc-Andre Fleury with 92. I don't think that Marc-Andre Fleury has another 20-some playoff wins in him.
Probably not.
I don't think if he's staying in Minnesota, I don't think he has any.
Fair enough. Yeah, right. So, yeah, Patrick Waugh just absolutely dominant. I'll never forget the 96 Western Conference final, Hawks and Avalanche, and just Waugh and Belfour going back and forth. And Colorado was a better team, so Eddie was stopping 50, Waugh was stopping 45, and usually as great as Eddie was, Waugh was just that much better. And another guy, a character, opinionated, talked his crap, put his money where his mouth is. I'll never forget after that, Jaromir Jagr got pulled down in that game and said, it should have been a penalty shot, and I want to know where Patrick Waugh's jock was after I scored on a breakaway ahead, earlier in the series. And he goes, I can't hear Jeremy. I've got my 2 Stanley Cup rings in my ears. That's it. He just dunked on Jeremy Roenick.
That's the day I earned a lot of respect for Patrick Waugh because as a huge Hawks fan, and Jeremy Roenick was my favorite player at that time. And then you hear that response and you're kind of just like, touche. Well played.
It's difficult to shut up Jeremy Roenick, and Patrick Waugh did it.
He found a way. Again, goalies in this list, Martin Brodeur was great. Somebody mentioned Ken Dryden and those 70s teams.
Yep.
Bernie Parent won
Yep.
back-to-back Stanley Cups and back-to-back Conn Smythes. Some great performances there. Some legendary goalies, but it's so tough.
None of you had Brodeur anywhere in
I had
your list?
Brodeur.
He had Brodeur on his.
Okay.
Jay had
Marty
Brodeur at top
Brodeur
10,
was,
but
those teams were
Billy
ridiculous.
Smith is another one. 4 straight Stanley Cups and a guy that he was a red ass.
Yeah.
A lot of Billy Smith and Corey Crawford.
Ah,
A lot of
I
Billy
like
Smith
that.
and Corey
Good call.
Crawford. Corey Crawford, Billy Smith would stop you on a breakaway and then try to behead you with his stick.
And tripped down the stairs at a Starland vocal band concert.
It's because it was in the evening, not in the afternoon.
yeah.
If it was in the afternoon, he would have been fine. It would have been delightful. All right, top 2. I wonder who these 2 guys are.
I wonder.
Number 2, Mark Messier.
I went with the iconic Rangers
Yeah.
photo.
Yeah, that's
just
the
'cause
one.
I mean,
That's the most iconic.
After the
20s.
guarantee, that's the one.
Yeah.
Mark
Plenty of-
Messier, 295 career playoff points, second only behind the guy that, is going to be number 1. He was a 6-time Stanley Cup winner.
Jesus.
That's impressive.
Only one Conn Smythe trophy, and that was the '84 team.
That was the first of the Oilers.
Yes.
4 out of 5, right? 84.
83,
84, 45,
84, yeah, because Islanders were 80 through 83, and that was the first Edmonton Cup. I always amazed me that he didn't get the Conn Smythe in '94.
But yeah,
Brian Leetch
I was
won
gonna
it.
say,
Yeah.
oh, Brian
Yeah.
Leetch. Nice.
I mean, yeah, Brian Leetch is a great player, but he had 4 postseason hat tricks in his career, just as clutch as they come. You look at that legendary 94 run, 12 goals, 30 points in 23 games. Was a plus 14 for those of you who care about that stat.
Well, and he had a hat trick in the game. The game he guaranteed that they would win to force a Game 7. Was it a hat trick that he had?
Yes.
I mean,
that's calling your shot.
that's legendary.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I'll give you a spoiler alert before we review our lists. Our number one wasn't unanimous
Really?
Eh,
Interesting.
because I had Mark Messier as my number one.
Okay.
okay.
Oh, you can be
For
wrong.
this fact alone, Mark Messier won 2 Stanley Cups without Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky never
Sure.
won a Stanley Cup without Mark Messier.
That's fair. 14 shorthanded playoff
Okay.
goals for Messier, too.
Yeah, that's also impressive. Yeah, guy did it all on the biggest stages.
All right, let's get to number one on the list here. No surprise. If it's a hockey list, unless it's penalty minutes, chances are it's Wayne Gretzky at the top.
Yep.
I got a little things on records here. 24 game-winning goals. That's tied for second all-time with Brett Hull. 382 points in 208 games. Wayne Gretzky holds many NHL playoff records, including most points, 382, goals, 122, assists, 260, hat tricks, 10, and game-winning goals, 24. He's got 4 Stanley Cups. It's pretty good. He was pretty good. This just in, number 99, good at hockey.
Yeah, pretty darn good.
I don't think that point record is going to be even ever in jeopardy. Playoffs.
No.
The next.
Well, because he leads by almost 100.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's 382. Messier is 295. The closest active player is Sidney Crosby, who's 181 points behind him. As great as he is,
Now he's got a chance.
Evgeny Malkin is 202 points behind him.
Damn.
Like, it's insane.
Wild.
As great as Nikita Kucherov has been, he doesn't even have half the amount of points
Yeah, I
that
don't
Wayne
think it's
Gretzky
gonna-
does.
yeah.
So it's pretty. It's
That
pretty.
won't be
insane.
touched unless McDavid makes some long runs in like consecutive years and things like that. Even then, I
think
can't
it's
even.
Too late for
Yeah,
him
but
at this point.
Well, and that's the crazy thing. Like, it might be too late for him because he's had too many early exits so already
Right.
in his career, which is crazy to even think of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need those, even if it's not a cup win, you got to get to the conference final just to
Right,
accumulate the points to have the opportunity.
Yeah, and you look at a guy like Nathan McKinnon, who seems to factor in on every single Avalanche playoff goal. He's got 109 career playoff points. Put that in perspective, and he's been in the league for 11 years already.
That's
so
crazy.
you've got to be in the league and in the playoffs every year. And yes, he played in an era where the nets were bigger. The goalie pads were a lot smaller.
Yeah.
The goalies kind of just stood there and hoped the puck hit them.
They were plumbers in the offseason.
Yeah, it was a different time.
Sure.
There's a reason why he has all those records that will never be broken because the game has evolved, the game has changed. But there's still my favorite Wayne Gretzky fact of all time. If Wayne Gretzky did not score a single goal in the NHL,
It's my favorite.
he would still be the NHL's all-time leading scorer on assists alone.
More assists than anyone has
He
goals
has-
and assists combined.
He has more assists in his career than anyone has points.
And, by the way, he's the all-time winning goal scorer.
Yeah. And congratulations to Brett Gretzky for being part of the NHL's all-time leading
All-time
brothers scoring
sibling
championship.
tandem.
Yes.
Brett Lindros is cursing the heavens at this very moment.
What if you put all the Sutters together? Would they even be close?
Not even close. I don't even think they combined for one.
I wonder if the
season.
Sutters beat the Sedins. That'd be fun to do. Sounds like a project for someone else.
Well, I think both Sedins went over 1,000 points, right?
see.
Sutters weren't known for
Maybe AI
for
knows.
points.
more
Sutters
points.
weren't known for
The
points.
Sutters or Sedins.
All right, so that concludes our top 10 list.
List.
Our
Good start.
collaborative top
Good
10.
Okay, here I have the answer. The Sedins combined 2,107 points, makes them the fourth highest scoring sibling duo of all time between the 6 Sutter brothers, who scored 2,936. The Gretzky brothers, 2,861. And the Stasnys, who posted 2,169. That was not in order. But that's
so it took all six.
So Sutters,
Six Sutters had
Gretzky's,
more?
Stasnys. The six
All right.
Sutters
Well, it
had
took
more than the
6 of them.
Gretzky's.
6 of them, yeah. The 6 Sutters had more than 1 Wayne Gretzky
Yeah.
and 1 Brent Gretzky.
Yes.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's insane.
By like 60 points only.
Yeah, right.
It's pretty wild.
All right. Shall we reveal
Yeah,
our
let's do it.
individual lists?
Sure.
We start with Mario. You give us your.
I'll go
top
10 to 1. I will admit I forget goalies sometimes. And so I had 0 goalies on mine, but you cannot deny that Patrick Waugh deserves to be on this list as high as he was. My 10 to 1 was Nicholas Lidstrom. Mr. Game 7 himself, Justin Williams.
Yeah, that's a good one. Justin Williams was great.
Jonathan Toews, number 8. Bobby Orr, number 7. Brett Hall, 6. Patrick Kane, 5. Mario Lemieux, 4. Sidney Crosby, 3. Mark Messier, 2. And Wayne Gretzky, number 1.
All right. I did Chris Chelios, number 10. Most playoff games all time, 266. Steve Yzerman. His team's only missed the playoff twice in 22 years. In those appearances,
I don't
Stevie
think they
Y
missed the
scored
playoffs every year.
70 goals and 185 points in 196 games. Crosby, Brodeur, Orr, Kane, Lemieux, Messier, Waugh, Gretzky. That's my top 10.
All right, here's my top 10 from 10 to 1. I had Joe Sakic 10th. Dude was,
Yeah?
we talk about clutch
Yeah.
and putting a team on his back. He did it multiple years. I had number 9. I had to take someone from that Islanders dynasty. I went with Brian Trottier because he was great for the, but he also won cups with the Penguins on those 91,
Yep.
92 teams. So he was another clutch. And you want to talk about clutch? Number 8, I had Claude Lemieux. Dude was all about the playoffs.
Yes, he was.
He was a total pudwack at times, but he was a pudwack you wanted on your side. You wanted to go to war with Claude Lemieux.
Pudwack.
Yes. Number 7, Bobby Orr. Number 6, Sidney Crosby. I had Jean Beliveau at number 5. You're welcome. Number 4, Patrick Waugh. I had Jaromir Jagr, 3rd best all-time. I had Wayne Gretzky 2, and I had Mark Messier 1, just
Hater.
because the 94 run alone
Yeah.
and the fact he won 2 cups
Yeah,
without Gretzky.
that is significant. There's
That
no doubt about
94
that.
run is why Greg is a huge Rangers fan.
I did root for the Rangers that year. That's how much Steve Larmer was on that team, and I was cheering for the Rangers. That's how much I love Steve Larmer that I put my hatred for all things New York to the side for one spring.
Some Hawks bloggers should really take it upon themselves to stump for Steve Larmer to have his number retired. I can't believe no one's done
know.
that yet.
Who would do
There was
that?
only somebody out there that did that all the time.
Well, we'll have to mention it to Tab. Maybe he'll take on that,
He might,
that
yeah.
duty.
No, he's pretty busy.
That duty. Yeah, that's that topic for another day is the whole Steve Larmer deal.
Yes.
Sure.
That was fun. I like top 10 Thursdays.
Did you do your list?
Yeah.
He
Was
went
that
out of
just-
order.
Oh, okay. I was
Zoned out there.
okay.
Yeah.
You were relishing in
I
the
was-
glory of your own list, and you tuned out.
I
Jay.
was. I was making
happens.
sure I had
You
it
heard
right.
the choir in your ear of all those great names. But
You,
that
I
was
said
fun.
Iserman, and you just
Oh, that's right.
blacked
Yeah,
out in
you
a
said,
rage.
You said Iserman. I blocked it out because you said so many Red Wings. I was just like, whoa, Jay, all the Red Wings
Yeah.
love over this.
there's only technically one Red Wing on that list. Because Chris
You
Chelios
said,
is not
you
a Red
said
Wing.
Lidstrom.
That was the only one.
Ugh.
Lidstrom was another
Patrick
guy.
Kane.
Speaking of
He didn't play in the
so good
playoffs
they
for the
became
Red Wings,
underrated,
though.
that's Nicholas Lidstrom. Nicholas Lidstrom was
Me.
a created in a lab defenseman.
Not a single Red Wing on my list, by the way.
And that's why yours is the best list.
I had the guy that Red Wing fans hate the most on mine.
That's right. That's right. Did you ever watch the thing with him and McCarty?
Yeah.
yeah, it was good.
That's interesting. I
That
want to
was
watch that
very-
new Sakic. Did you see that one, Saving
Yeah.
Sakic?
Yeah, that
was
one's
good.
coming out.
I think it might be out. I need to watch it soon.
Yeah.
Just remember,
It
guys.
looks really interesting.
Detroit sucks!
Thank you.
Detroit sucks!
Jeremy
Thank you,
Piven.
Jeremy.
Always
Before
and
he
forever.
was famous. All right. We're good. We're done. We made it.
Yeah, we're gonna do another show tomorrow on something.
Well, we'll talk Hawks and Leafs and Bruins.
Yeah,
That
game-
will have another
game 6.
game decided. It's the only game tonight. And there's always stuff. There's always things
maybe
that
some
trickle
Ice
out.
Hogs. Ice Hogs had a big 5-1.
I
Yes,
saw,
they did.
I saw a
To even
big
up the
win last
series.
night.
We would talk a little Hogs. They got a big game tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
A pivotal game 3 of a 5-game series. It would definitely behoove them to win tomorrow night. It would make life a lot easier.
Yeah, it'd be big.
Yeah.
And
Big
they
game
dominated last night. They were
did.
fantastic.
Also, something I saw this morning on The Athletic, Ian Mendez did a piece on how every NHL team got their name. Very cool. There's some cool stuff in there.
Nice.
They were almost the Detroit Winged Wheelers.
Winged Wheelers.
Good job going with Red Wings on that one.
They should have They were the Cobras at one point. They should have kept that.
Yeah. And then the Avalanche
And the
were very
Cougars.
close to being the Rocky Mountain Extreme.
Oof.
Is there anything more mid '90s than
Yes,
Rocky
exactly.
Mountain
They'd have, like,
I feel
Mountain
like
Dew
neon
colored
uniforms.
jerseys.
Yeah, that feels like it's like a lacrosse team.
That's
roller hockey.
I was gonna say like
that's
a
an arena.
BMX
That's an
bike.
arena
Yeah,
football league team.
Rocky Mountain Extreme.
yeah, Colorado Avalanche much better. Much better.
Yes, good job with that. So we'll see what Utah has coming up. And the story about how the Lightning got their name is cool, too. Read it. I'm not going to spoil it. Good stuff. All right, we'll talk to everybody tomorrow at 2:30. Thanks for being with us. Hit that like button on your way out for us. Make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube page as well. We'll talk to you Friday at 2:30 on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.